Hey folks, you're
Absolute Packer podcast initiating in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Absolute Packer podcast fans, and welcome to episode 16, where we recap the Packers versus the lowly Cleveland Browns. Their record is like 1-948 in their last 949 games or something like that, I think. No, I'm just kidding. But
it's almost that bad, man.
It was some of the stats they had up there were, you talk about futility. It was a monument to futility. But this is why they play the game. So what's up, Elliot?
I took care of getting all of our stuff updated. So I noticed that we had some problems with getting some of the episodes up in iTunes. Oops. So that's all taken care of.
Right,
so
cool.
all of our
Appreciate
episodes
that.
are everywhere now.
Excellent.
All of our episodes are everywhere.
Good.
So you can safely send people to absolutepacker.com and they can see our episodes.
Excellent. Appreciate that. All right. So we want to pop right into it.
Absolutely.
All right. X's and O's as we always start. So I'm reading this verbatim, but I'm not going to lie. I was scared to death during this game for the first three quarters. When the Packers got down 14 points, I was watching the game with my family, but on the inside I was madness, but on the outside I was kind of half chuckling, like nervous laughter, and it was part of me was going, this is the end, this is the beginning of the end. I think Cleveland had never been up on any opponent this year by that amount. So lo and behold, of course, they had to do it to Dom Capers led defense of the Packers,
right.
And man, it was crazy, but. That's about all I could say about that. I was stunned when they were down 14, and credit to them for coming back and getting through it, no doubt. Even if it's against a crappy team, you got to do it. So,
yeah. So, so I took a few notes this time.
Okay.
I guess I'm going to just kind of hit some of like what I think are highlights.
Very empty stadium.
Well,
it was pathetic.
Yeah.
My God.
But I mean, like,
can you blame them?
more than you'd even expect, though.
Yeah.
I get it, but like, I kind of didn't get it. Like, we could sell the stadium out we could be 0-50 and we'd still sell out. It's just weird.
And that's
a very
strange
mentality.
That's the uniqueness of Green Bay. But man, in a city like Cleveland, where it seems like they do everything on purpose just to twist the knife in the fans' hearts, to be a Cleveland Browns fan, God bless you. I don't know how in the hell you could be one, but hey.
So, I was on pins and needles the first three quarters too. We were down, but so I'm going to try to keep upbeat. We did go for it a few times on fourth down.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Agreed.
I think we had the third string guys from Fox on. I forget what.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When you notice when we lost Rodgers, we get the not the C team, we get the D team. We get the camera operators that are basically put a mic in front of them.
They did call out some stats, which I'm sure they didn't come up with on their own. But the Packers were leading the league for opening drive touchdowns.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's an interesting stat. So what that tells me there is they're great at scripting plays because the first drive is always like they usually call it the first 15. They script all those plays, and then after that they basically start the game plan and they take what the defense or offense gives you. So
right.
It tells me that McCarthy is great at scripting plays. Maybe not so great past that, but that's an interesting stat, though.
But the other stat that they pointed out was that we also have the worst opening defense.
Sounds about right. It's
like
crazy.
Crazy to me.
Yeah, you say here on the next thing, defense gave up big pass from Kaiser. I mean, they went into zone coverage and they gave up like a 35-yarder to Josh Gordon immediately on that first drive. And the one guy who can beat them is Josh Gordon. Nobody else on that team could beat him. And what was very disappointing, I mean, Gordon's good and he's got fresh legs. He just came back. He is quite a specimen. I don't know if you saw him. I mean, he's he looks like a
Absolutely.
tight end, but he's a fast wide receiver. And like I said, he just came back, so he's not beat up, he's not injured. But man, it's the one guy, and they let him go right down and score a touchdown. It's every touchdown that gets scored against Capers that looks ugly is just another nail in his coffin. I think he's gone. I don't see him.
I think you're right. I keep hearing that too.
He's gone.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
yeah.
I don't see how.
But I like that the first part of the game, outside the first drive, the Packers were struggling. I even wrote down 3 and out.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that, like I said, after the scripting, they're slow to either adjust or, Hundley's got jitters Hundley's very inconsistent. He has a good game, he has a bad game. He's consistently inconsistent, for lack of a better term. Good game, bad game, good game, bad game. And, this one was kind of 2 in a row for the most part. But part of me is, I don't want to say I expect it, but I kind of do. They go into funks, and what we're also seeing is they're lacking speed all over the team. Oh boy.
So I've been waiting all week to ask you about this.
Okay.
So we get an interception.
Oh, it took a knee.
What is that?
It's McCarthy saying we need to get our asses into halftime and try and figure this out. I was saying the same thing,
Why do you not? You have like negative confidence in your offense. How do you not try for a score?
I can't remember exactly how much time was left. I think it was 19 seconds left when they got the ball.
It wasn't much.
Yeah.
They could have had one. They could have shot one play off though.
I'm in your camp where it's like, Jesus, it's the Browns. Throw everything you got at them, and
but we knew we were giving up the ball at the half.
I know. I agree.
So
with
you
that.
intercepted it to give it right back to them. Like, why would you not try? Like, I don't even know what game it is they think they're playing. Like, that really bothered me a lot.
Yeah, and McCarthy's known to do that. I'm trying to think, even with Aaron Rodgers.
He would have done it with Aaron Rodgers too.
Yes, I was going to say, say it's. I'm trying to think of how much what the threshold of time would be where he would take a knee with Rodgers. I would say probably 40 seconds and under, shall we say, that he would just take a knee, even with Rodgers. And that's just I don't really necessarily agree with it, but I wasn't surprised, but I didn't like it.
But I look at this thing, like I put it on a scale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you got your pros and cons. So the pro is that we are going out gunning for it. The con is, I guess, they intercepted deep in their
Which
own
is
territory,
effectively a punt,
and run it all the way back and score.
Well, you did see our defense, right? No, actually,
Well, no,
that would be offense.
right. So what?
Yeah.
How do you not like?
I agree with you. I know why though. Like I said, that's just McCarthy's MO. I think half the coaches in the league would do it. Half the coaches wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to see. Maybe we should send out a questionnaire to all the coaches and see what they would do, right? Because I think I know which ones would go for it, and which ones wouldn't, and I would rather have those coaches in most cases.
Yeah, and a part of it is, like I said, it's who you got at quarterback. But I keep saying that, but as I think about it, if there were 19 seconds left, and let's say it was the same score and Rodgers was in there, he'd still probably take a knee. So yeah. Yeah, no, I agree about it. Probably half the coaches in the league would do it.
It didn't have to be a ridiculous Hail Mary. Like, you didn't have to throw it 80 yards. Yeah. Like, but he could have.
I didn't agree with it either. I was not
yards.
surprised at all, though. And I think, again, if I had to really put a number on it, it was because they were struggling so much. Even if it was against a bad team, a lot of times he just wants to get his tail in the locker room and get shit cleaned up. That's all I can think of.
See, and I just feel like success brings success. So,
you
like,
stack
even
successes, as McCarthy says.
Well, then he needs to put it up. Like, you got to do some of that.
I agree. I'm telling you, I personally think that, this is a theory of mine, but you could say, when was the beginning of the end of this regime? And that makes it sound like it's completely over. And I still think McCarthy and Thompson are coming back, but I think the beginning of the end of the apex, if you will, was the NFC Championship game debacle in Seattle, and he played that. I think that just it was such a hangover, and the mentality of the team and the regime and everything seemed to change. Because remember, the next year was the year that they had that big hangover, it seemed, and they couldn't. Rodgers was playing bad, and they lost all these games. And I think that I always go back to that as, when did things just start to go downhill collectively, and that seemed to be it.
Yeah. Oh, that game still haunts me.
Hey,
Man.
how could it not haunt anybody? It was one of the worst. It was one of the oddest things I've ever seen, and it was. Yeah, let's not revisit that, right?
No, I don't even like how that like makes my skin crawl.
Second lead of the half all year for Cleveland, wasn't it? That was Cleveland's
Yeah.
stat, yeah. That doesn't surprise me either. They're a bad team. You know what's funny? I mean, they have a decent amount of defensive players. I mean, their defensive front is pretty good. They're pretty good against the run defense. They got some good players. They're not as bad as their record is, but part of what you're seeing is they find creative ways to lose. You know, I mean, teams like that, they just losing begets losing, and they had that game won, and they basically snatched victory from the or snatched defeat
Absolutely.
from the jaws of victory or whatever. So it's this dynamic that surrounds the whole team. But they got some decent players. And remember, Josh Gordon came back just the week before. Had Josh Gordon not been in this game, I don't think it would have been what it was.
No, probably not. Yeah. Yeah. Hard to prepare for a guy who hasn't been on the field and all that. Yeah.
Jordy finally gets a pass.
Yeah. So both him and Randall Cobb, I felt like they were finally not back in, where they need to be, but like at least they were catching some passes.
How happy do you think Jordy is now that Rodgers is coming back? Grinning ear, shit-eating grin at his locker. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was never like fully in despair mode,
But he was damn near close.
But you could see like the spirit was like
I said, he's looking at his stats. He's like, oh, I have 100 yards. Oh, it took me 8 games to get it.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, we'll see now. I mean, like if he turns it even halfway around, my God, like that, it could be amazing.
Yeah. Go for it on 4th, which is great. Why don't we do that more with the best QB in the league? You know what's funny is, 4th down, I think the Packers are decent when they go for it on offense. I'll tell you one thing they're really bad at, though, is 3rd and short. They are just, that's when
unbelievably
they put in these goofy ass play calls. They got Randall Cobb 4 yards in the backfield, like doing some wildcat junk, or they get all cute, and it's just, I don't know.
Like that's not the time to try the weird stuff.
Yeah, and the part of it is their offensive line is not built to run block; they're built to pass block.
Oh,
and when you're 3rd and short, you want to run, and they get pushed around. They are an athletic, but not a bruising offensive line. So part of it's not really the way they're made up, but still.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to be that great with the best quarterback in the league.
But with Hundley, it helps. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. But we never go for it on 4th with Rodgers. Like it's a miracle when we
and I think a lot of it, they just look at it, they're like, well, right, we'll get it back and Rodgers will figure it out. With Hundley, they're probably like, oh shit, might have to go for it. Could be as simple as that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think your prospects are better of making it on 4th with Rodgers, but call me crazy.
Depends what play call you do too, though. Ugh.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I think hopefully
Rodgers used to do all these
takes
freaking fullback dives where you'd have like John Kuhn plow or Ripkowski plow into the. And I mean, yuck. But anyway,
yeah. So I know we kind of scattered all over the place there.
No
so
this is good.
Did we miss any of your points? So you're talking about the pass rush. That's on your list.
Yeah, I mean, the pass rush is terrible, and it was horrific in this game, partly because Nick Perry was out injured, but part of the reason I brought this up is this point right underneath it too, where if you have a crappy pass rush and you have a crappy secondary, you have huge problems. If you have a crappy pass rush but you have a decent secondary, you're decent. If you have a really good pass rush and a crappy secondary, you're decent. When they're both bad, you're fucked. And I mean, that's where I'm saying this team is going nowhere in the playoffs, because when they meet a juggernaut of an offense or somebody can move it, they're going to get their ass handed to them because they got nothing.
So do you think there is anybody like that in the NFC right now?
Well, I was going to say Philadelphia, but Carson Wentz, as I said, he tore his ACL. That really sucks. I still think even with Nick Foles, who's their backup, I think Philadelphia could hang 30 on us. I really do, because they got a lot of skilled players. Let's see. Atlanta has got our number. They struggle, but they could easily hang 40 on us. They've done it twice in a row. It's just a bad matchup,
It's hard to keep doing that.
But it's a bad matchup for us. It just is. It's the Rams. We haven't played the Rams, but I could see the Rams putting up. I mean, there's three teams that could.
Yep. Yeah, those are the ones I would probably pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
I mean, but I don't know that they could stop Rodgers either. Like right now. So I mean,
yeah, I'll say this though.
We'll see.
You know, part of it is, you know, you look at the NFC Championship game last year, right? And Rodgers was out of this world up until that game, and then before he could even blink, he was down 21-0. And even the best quarterbacks in the league, if you're down 21-0, you talk about forcing it.
Nope.
I mean,
that is true.
Ugh. So their defense is just yuck. And I mean, part of it is injuries. On the secondary, I mean, Devon House broke some kind of bone in his back in this game, which when I heard about that, I was like, yeah. But apparently he's only gonna be out a week or possibly 2 at the most. But I mean, their best cornerback right now is Demarius Randall, who almost got run out of the freaking team. You know, I mean, he was benched earlier when he left the stadium after that one game or whatever. But he's played well. I'll give him credit. He's played well since then. He is their best cornerback. Behind him, House, he's injured. Quentin Rollins, who was the other guy, he went on IR a few weeks ago because he tore his Achilles tendon. And then who am I missing? Ladarius Gunter, they cut him. I mean, they got.
Yeah, it's
got
tough
jack
when you have
shit
like
at cornerback after Demarius Randall. And Demarius Randall's not a shutdown. He's playing well, but let's not, you know, he's not exactly lighting the world on fire. He's doing okay. So, and again, it's brutal watching this team try and rush the passer. It's just, I mean, guys get 7 seconds. Nobody gets close. I mean, Clay Matthews is just a guy. You know, I wouldn't say he's bad, but he's not getting any pressure.
He's been up and down.
He's not
like he certainly has.
They don't pay him $15 million to play against the run.
Yeah.
He's charged to get the quarterback and get pressure, and he ain't doing it. And Nick Barry, that's going to go down as a bad signing. I'm telling you, he's always hurt, and I mean, he's got like 2 injuries right now. It's like something with his wrist or something with. I mean, I don't know. So apparently he might be coming back for this game, but I don't know. It just sucks when the pass rush and the secondary are bad. I mean, I don't know what else you can do, you know.
Well,
and the Browns, you know, we made the frickin' Browns look like the Patriots, which is just ridiculous, you know. And then I put here as a follow-up, this defense should never play zone coverage. The first time they went into zone coverage, that was when that Josh Gordon, it was like a 35-yarder right away, because what they get annihilated. They don't know what they're doing on the back end. They'll pass a guy, a cornerback will pass a guy to a receiver on to another guy who's not even there, and they got these gaping holes in the middle of the field that we all know. Tight ends destroy them. They're scared to death to play man coverage because they think they're going to get beat, but they can't play zone either. They can't play man or zone, I guess. But zone is horrible. I mean, it rips them apart.
Well, I mean, so I think zone could be helpful in getting interceptions, right? So like that's the whole bend not break thing.
Yeah, you make a good point in that Dom Capers' defense is predicated on turnovers. You know, they'll give up the plays here and there, but they think, okay, if we have to make you go 15 plays instead of 8 or whatever, something like that, right. You know, the chances of you making a mistake go up. But that worked 15 years ago. His defense it ain't working anymore. It ain't working, and they're not getting turnovers.
It shows. I mean, well, we did, but we still didn't win that game
due to stupidity. Yeah, I'll get to that one at the end there. But yeah, so some more good stuff. Devontae Adams. I got to do a mea culpa on him. I mean, I wanted him run out of the gym a couple of years ago when he was dropping everything and playing really bad, and he played okay last year, but it was 2015. But he turns out he got hurt pretty bad. His ankle was in bad shape in 2015, and he lost a lot of confidence. And last year picked up a little bit. This year, I mean, he's a borderline number 1 wide receiver, but I'll tell you one thing he's good at: route running. And his first move, his juke move and stuff like that is sick. He is breaking guys' ankles off the line when he's doing these little stutter steps. Whew, man. So they got to pay him because without him, ooh, boy, it's like you got an old Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb who can't do anything. They have to get Adams.
Yeah, got to pay there's him. No question.
And he's earning all his money, so, you know.
I think he's our guy now.
He is. He's number 1. Jordy's number 2, and Cobb is number 88. No, I don't know.
Right.
But no, yeah, it's Devontae number 1 and Jordy number 2. Now that could kind of be 1 and 1A when Rodgers gets back because we know how good Rodgers can make Nelson look, but
Sure.
yeah. So, and then, with Devontae, I just say he's one of the few players that continues to perform without Aaron Rodgers. There hasn't been many, So he's one, and another one I would say are the running backs, which I'm kind of poking around here or out of order. But I said Jamal Williams, he still looks really good. I didn't think he'd be much of a running back, but he's actually over Aaron Jones right now as a starter. Aaron Jones might be faster, but Jamal Williams seems to be a bit more consistent. So they got kind of a 1-2 punch. I'll tell you what, I hope when Rodgers comes back this coming week that they actually do run the ball a little bit more, because I can't wait to see Rodgers with these two running backs. If they actually use them the right way, it could be awesome. Right? Awesome. So that's good to see. And then the last thing I got here, not the last thing, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers desperately, in all caps, wants to play. You could tell that at the end of the game when they were putting the camera on him on the sideline, he's chomping at the bit down there. It was as demonstrative as I've ever seen him on the sideline, which it's good to see. But also, I think we were talking about this before we came on, that he knows that if they lose that game, he ain't coming back. So he wanted to win the game, so they would take him off IR. But it's just good to see. That guy's competitive beyond anything most people have seen. And he's a coach on the field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Brett Hundley.
See.
Got to give him credit. Clutch. I mean, he struggled for, again, 3 quarters, but he's got a clutch gene. Man, I mean, that's 2 games in a row where you got to have it overtime. And so he saves his best for last, and that's a good trait to see. So I'm going to tip my cap to him for that for sure. And now he goes to the bench.
I know, the poor guy.
They were talking about, he's coming back next year. I think he's in a contract year, but they were like, oh, we're going to trade him for this, that, or the other. He's a backup. But so hopefully they can find a way to keep him. Because he didn't do great, but he did about as good as you could. I think he went 3-4 or something.
Something like that.
And that's about to be expected, especially when you have a shitty defense. So, he did serviceable, which is about all you can ask.
Well, compared to what we had going on a few years ago, when Rodgers got when he got injured
the first collarbone. Oh my God! Who was the parade? Remember they brought in Vince Young? Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that. Vince Young. He didn't even look like he knew his own name. He was so.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was brutal. And then they brought in Seneca Wallace. That's right. And then, in the first game, he hurt his hamstring.
I think.
That's right. And then that's when they had to bring in Scott Tolzien. McCarthy was so mad after that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
As he should be. Yeah. So it feels like things kind of came together in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
And there was, again, we punted, I think, which I never agree with.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't say never, but half of the time that punts happen, they shouldn't. Half.
I know what you're saying. You could say just go for it on 4th down or whatever.
Yeah. The odds are in your favor to do that. And plus you get better at it, but anyway, so then, they had a good call on a challenge, which probably shouldn't have happened.
Yep.
We shouldn't have even gotten to that point, but that worked out. And so the other, my notes in the fourth quarter are all good stuff, right? So we had a great return from Davis.
Yeah. I got to say something about Davis. He is an enigma because he's got speed and he is dangerous back there. That was the first punt return he's broken probably since week 1, which was great to see, no doubt. But he makes some boneheaded decisions back there about when to catch a punt, when to let it go. It is just mind-blowing how stupid some of his decisions are. And I don't know if it's his coaches telling him that or he just flat out doesn't know. But I digress.
How do you not know? How do you not know?
Look, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Ron Zook either. All right, he's kind of he isn't much of anything to me. I don't even know why McCarthy hired him, to be honest with you. But I'd rather not go down that. So, but he's got speed, and that's exactly why they keep giving the ball, because when they had to have it, when they needed to make something happen, and there were no flags or anything, there you go. So that was a good thing to see.
That was critical.
That was a 65-yard.
And how often do we get how often does that happen with no penalty?
Never.
From any team.
Never. I think the Packers, last time I checked, I think they do lead the league in special teams penalties. Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean that happens a lot. You know, the whole
It
block in
does.
the back thing, like that. It's almost inevitable.
There was a game a few games ago where Josh Jones had 3 special teams penalties in one game. He broke a Packers record. No player had ever done that. 3 in one game.
We tend to have. I think we've had a lot of those negative records, a lot more than anybody would expect from a team like the Packers.
Yeah, well, Aaron Rodgers covers up all those ills, baby.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's true.
It's kind of a broken record, but I mean, we've all been saying that now. We're like, wow, it's unbelievable how much.
Oh God,
one player means to this team.
It's to me, it is borderline. Just it's a farce how much that one player can mean to one team. And part, I actually made this comment to somebody today at work. I said, so if they come back and they win 3 games in a row and they go to the playoffs and they're one and done, I could see Aaron Rodgers coming back, that he enables the regime to just continue doing what they're doing and nothing changes. There's almost like a bad thing that could come from that. In the back of my mind, I'm going, maybe they wouldn't even get rid of Capers. I just don't know. But I think, so in a way, that's part of me selfishly is like, shut his ass down, just so we can, I don't know.
Well, right. In a way, success in this case is not a good thing. Like, we might get lucky because of other teams being, getting injured at the wrong time.
Yeah. So much of the NFL is not who you play, but when you play them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's obvious. That's visible.
Yeah.
So anyway, the game ends with a runoff touchdown from Adams. Like,
you did mention that Josh Jones interception. I want to get back to that real quick. That freaking throw from Kaiser.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was such a Browns thing.
It was terrible.
Oh my God. I mean, for much as we complain about Hundley and all that, and Kaiser, he's got talent. You could tell he's got a good arm. But Jesus Christ,
I don't know if it was even panic.
That was. I couldn't believe. I mean, that was such a Browns move. I couldn't believe he tried.
Who was he throwing to?
I have no idea. Me, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, maybe you were in Cleveland. I didn't see you on Sunday, so.
But yeah, and then the Adams TD. I'm glad you brought that up too, because he caught it in some traffic, but then he put a juke move on and just busted through there. If you watch that play again on the touchdown, it's almost like a little screen pass in a way. But then he puts this cut on this guy and just blasts through there. He's breaking dudes' ankles with some of his moves. It's really cool to see. So,
well, you can see it. He's like, I know what I got to do, and
he's a freak athlete
like that.
And he's not the fastest, but I'm telling you, when he gets in that break and he does that stutter step, it is he's breaking some guys' ankles right there. So,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I want to see more of him. That's for sure,
no doubt.
See, what else we got?
We got JS comments.
So you picked some amazing ones.
There haven't been a whole lot of new ones, but yeah, the first one
the last one is awesome.
All these are great. The first one I put in here, I copied it verbatim, obviously, and it's riddled with grammar errors, spelling errors, punctuation errors. So it says, quote, "Throw Hundley under the bus, ? It's going to look funny, but poll number 12 with, and this is misspelled, the least bit of faltering. Don't wait too long. Throw a game plan curve at them that they never expected." Okay. So basically, if Aaron Rodgers struggles a little bit, just put in Hundley and they'll never see it coming. That's a good idea. Rodgers can play, this is the next one, can play cornerback. It probably doesn't matter. That's more factual than silly, but I still included it in there.
There's some truth to that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
The last one is the best. Just hope Rodgers isn't accused of any sexual harassment. Right or wrong, it's the kiss of death. Ain't that the truth?
I mean, that's all this team needs. Be something like that.
God, no kidding. Yeah.
So I don't know. Do we got anything else? Is there? I don't know what other excitement happened outside of the Eagles. Is there anything else like huge?
I think what we could probably talk about right now, I don't have it in here in the notes, but we could talk about is just Rodgers coming back and how some of that came about and then what that may mean. So it turns out, I mean, everybody was waiting in bated breath. I think it was 2 days ago. Is today Thursday? I want to say it was Tuesday. Yeah. And
yes. No. Yes. Number 12 came back on 12/12.
That's right. 12/12. How about that? Nice. How that played out. Jesus Christ, like the stars lining. But he did it on Instagram. Did you see that? That's how he let everybody know.
Yes.
And it wasn't the team that broke the news. It was him, which was interesting. But I was on Twitter that night poking around here and there. And like everything that was trending was like, it was like, let us know what's going to happen. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then I think I already went to bed or whenever when it happened. So, obviously with the Packers medical staff, I mean, he's got to be completely healed because they're not going to let him out there. This is the franchise. This is the everything. So I got to think that he's 100%, not like 80 or 90. He's got to be 100. And there's been some footage of him throwing in practice, and he seems to have all the strength back, everything back. And I'm sure he's been working his ass off. I'm not worried about that. To rehab everything with the, flexibility and the arm strength and all that good stuff. So, like I said, I'm a bit torn because, I mean, say he goes out and in Carolina, he's going to be a little rusty. I got to think he is. That's just the way it goes. I mean, if he loses to Carolina, what do you do with him? Do you shut him down? And actually, I have that as a poll here, potentially, an APP poll to our fans would be, should Rodgers be shut down for the rest of the year if they lose to the Panthers? I think it's a valid question because, I mean...
it is.
It's a mathematical certainty that if they lose, they won't make the playoffs. You have to win out to even have a chance. So, to be honest with you, I mean, two things. Number one, if they did that, say they lose to Carolina and they shut him down, Rodgers would be beyond pissed, and he might let people know publicly. And then, number two, part of me is just going, I think it's probably the right move, though. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, but... Obviously, it's all predicated on if they lose. I think they have a very good chance to win, but also McCarthy doesn't do well against winning teams in the NFC on the road, and this is a road game. Or is this at home? I can't even remember. Is this at home? This is on the road. Yeah. It's in Carolina. He's got a lousy record in the last few years going against, like I said, teams in the NFC. Last time they went down to Carolina, remember they were down like freaking 29-3. I mean, they had their asses... Right.
Yes.
So
they're a tough team.
Knows? I think they have a shot to win because they have Rodgers back, but I don't know. It's good to have.
I don't think anybody knows, and it's going to be. I don't know. It's one of those things like we're all on the fence. I think everybody legitimately should be on the fence.
Yeah,
because but
it's not easy. It's not an easy decision
at this point, because we do have a chance. Like if we would have lost last week, I'd be like, yeah, we're done. Period.
Oh, they would have shut him down. I bet you they would have. Yeah. I bet you they would have shut him down. No doubt.
But like now, especially with how things have happened in the NFC, I feel like there is a legit shot of getting in and, maybe not running the table. Like, I don't think they're gonna, there's nobody that they couldn't beat.
Yeah,
right now
I'll say this.
In the
There's
NFC.
nobody in the NFC you're like, oh my God. It would have been the Eagles, but with Carson Wentz out, that's a huge wrinkle in the whole thing. So there really isn't anyone that completely scares the hell out of me. I mean, the Vikings, they scare me, but not that much. So, yeah, I mean, there isn't like a Patriots. Right. They're on the other side.
Right. Right.
Which, speaking of the Patriots, they lost to the Dolphins, and they're like 1-4 in their last 5 games against the Dolphins. So apparently the Dolphins have a footprint on how to beat Brady. Take that for what it's worth. But
well, I think that's a huge thing because, like, okay, I mean, who doesn't watch that film and say, okay, this happened, they did.
Problem is, they do that every year, and then he still goes and wins a fucking Super Bowl. I mean, they had all these stats where they're like, oh, they started off 0-3. Oh, they won the Super Bowl that year. Oh, they started off whatever, and it's like it doesn't mean anything. They're just a machine. I know. But still, it's interesting. The reason why they did well in there is because they beat the hell out of them. They had a pass rush. They beat them up. If you beat up any quarterback. Put them on the ground all the time. Put them under pressure. It's going to work. But I've seen our pass rush, and it is non-existent. So even against the Browns.
Exactly.
Anywho, so I
don't know. We got 3 very, very winnable games. I feel like the Vikings should be the toughest game, but like we should imagine
how motivated Rodgers is going to be against the Vikings at home.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing. If they lose to Carolina and everything's done. You're going to tell him he can't play the Vikings against the team that put him out for 8 weeks? Good luck with that.
That's true. It'll be heartbreaking to lose to the Panthers just because of that.
Yeah.
Because, we want that Vikings game to matter.
Oh my God, that would be, and I mean, you talk about he's going to want blood. So.
Yeah. It'll be fun to win that one anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I think if they lose.
It's almost better if it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think we should still put this poll question out, but I don't think they're going to shut him down if they lose because it's just. No. I mean, I could be wrong, but
because he's going to want to play against the Vikings. He's going to want to play against the Vikings.
Well, also part of it is if he's completely healed and you're paying him all this money, put his ass out there.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What we got? Anything else?
I don't believe so. I think that's pretty much it.
All right. That's plenty.
All righty. So hopefully next one we're talking about a win, and we're talking about Rodgers dominating, and then he's going to want blood against the Vikings. That would be
hopefully that's how it goes down.
No doubt.
Can't wait.
Alrighty.
So one last thing I don't want to forget to mention, if anybody wants to leave us voicemail, 508-535-5468.
Yep.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go. See y'all.
Podcast.
Chair.
I know, right?